Alright, so here we go. Today we're going to learn about budgeting. And what is budgeting? Budgeting is just how you handle your money and all the expenses that are going to come your way, and how much you're making, and just subtracting all the different things that you have to pay for. So this is specifically for when you guys are going to be working, and have your full-time career, and how to handle your money. But this is also important because it's going to teach you self-control in your spending so you can avoid going into debt. And it will identify the different expenses that are going to come your way and how that will affect your personal budget. So you can see here our example. And for the sake of our example, we're going to say that we're talking about a married husband and wife just starting off, and their income is $100,000 a year. So let's click on that, and we have all these tabs here. So all these things in blue, you click on them and it will take you to that specific tab. So this is our first tab, and this is going to show us the different jobs here and their incomes, the low end, the median, and the high end salaries based on how well you are doing. So our couple here is just starting off. So we're going to say that he is an accountant and he's making a little under 50,000, and she is a nurse and she's making a little over 50,000. So we'll just say that that comes out to $100,000. So we go back to our budget and we see there is their income for the year. Now there's a few things that will have to be taken out of the income to start off. And first and foremost is going to be our retirement funds. So at some point our couple is going to want to retire, as do all people, and they need to have some funds, some savings set aside for that, and so that is going to be taken out of the income each year, and that's the amount. So right away we're down to $90,000. And so then from there we look at the taxes, and taxes in their case are 30% of their income. And so we take out that percentage, which is 27,000, and we subtract it from our 90,000 up here, and we're left with $63,000. So as we continue from here, this is what they have for all of their other expenses, and how comfortably they want to live, and the different things that they want to do in this next year. So first and foremost we look at mortgage, and that is obviously their house that they own. And so they have a pretty nice house for just starting off. And so here's how much it costs, and here's how much it costs a year to live in that house. Their payment, their payment, they have to pay off their house here. So if we just plug in a number here, let's say that they lived in a little cheaper house. We put in $150,000, and we see how all the numbers change. So that's how this whole spreadsheet works. Basically, is you can enter in how much you want your house to cost, different things like groceries, how nice of a car you want to drive, and that will just affect the numbers, like you can see again, and all of that changes on this page. So if I would have left that at 150,000, this number would have gone down, and then all of this will be tallied at the bottom, and we'll see what's left. So obviously we see what's left for them, and they are over their budget. They spent, the total expenses right here is $434 over what they had here after taxes and retirement. So we can go through all of these individually, and we just looked at housing, and each one will take us to a tab, and that will show us why they're paying that much and if they can cut back. So obviously they need to cut back in some area. So we'll leave the house. They're not going to move. Let's just let them stay in their nice house. And we're going to look at, let's just look at their car payment quickly just to see what that looks like. So they have 2 cars, and he drives a pretty nice car, we'll say, and she drives his old beat up truck from college or something, you know. But they're still paying it off. So we'll see the annual amounts here, and these 2 numbers are added together, and that's where we get the total annual car payment. And then we also have to factor in gas, obviously, so they get the same miles per gallon, and that's roughly how much gas costs on average. So these are our numbers, and we go to our spreadsheet and we'll see these numbers. So we see our car payment here, and that's those numbers that we saw, and then we see our gasoline. So if we really wanted to, you know, we could say that they're gonna drive less, and that's gonna bring this down here in our miles. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to keep looking at the different expenses. So it's also important to look at utilities, and those are expenses that they have in their house. Obviously, gas and electric and water. And you know, you could save if you turn off lights less. Maybe that number goes down, or if you use lights less. I mean, if you take, you know, maybe you guys take quicker showers and you see that number go down, and different things like that. So these are all factors into the budget. But as we keep moving down, we're going to see here groceries, cell phone plan, student loans, personal shopping, etc. So let's just click on cell phone plan just so we can see what this tab looks like. So right away we see that their cell phone payment will be $150 a month, and that's what you get for the year. As we look here, well, we'll see that they have 2 phones, and this is the option that they're using, the plan, and they're in the middle of the road. So technically we could cut them back here and put them at the bare minimum, but we'll say that they really like their phones and they like to text a lot, and we're going to keep that. So we'll just go back to our budget and keep going down the list. We see that there's a groceries tab for their eating expenses, shopping, and you can click on all these tabs and see what they're using. But let's just say that for them, we're going to change their personal shopping. So this is how much they're spending a month. And here's some helpful thoughts that will give them rough estimates of how much they're spending, and like what it means, what this amount means. So let's just cut this back and say that they only need $200 for shopping money, and instead of $250. So let's change that number to $200. Enter. We see how it goes down for the whole year. We go back to our budget, and we see now that we are under the budget. There's our final total expenses for the year. We're barely under the budget. But this just shows you guys how you can tweak different things, and depending on your career, let's go back to our careers for a sec. If you are let's say you're a scout or a coach, you're probably going to be driving quite a bit. So your gas bill is going to be quite expensive, and you're probably going to be eating out a lot. Similarly, if you're a reporter, you're going to be driving a lot to different places, and so that's going to be an expensive bill. And if you're a farmer, you're probably not going to be driving as much because you're just working at your farm, and you're not going to be paying as much for groceries. So there's all these different factors. So we're going to do some fun classic activities for you guys where you can like pick what it is that you want to do, and we'll tweak these numbers. We'll do different things. Maybe we'll change the income. Maybe we'll put different factors in, like now you have a kid. You know, we're going to have fun with it. But I want you right now to write down any questions that you have regarding how this works, and then from there we'll start some activities in class after we answer any of the questions that you guys have. But this is going to be fun. It's really important, and I'm excited to to get to work with you guys tomorrow in class.